All right, the first category of information we need to talk about is your team. All right, what's one player on your team you need to know something about?
Well, if I were a coach, I'd be worried about the one on second base.
Right, base runner. You got to know about your base runner at second base. All right, what's one of the things you need to know about that base runner?
How fast she is?
All right, speed. How fast they are. Speed. How fast do they run? You know, at second base, if you got Tabitha Turtle, that's one thing. If you got Renee the Rabbit, that's a different thing. So we do need to know about the speed. How fast can they run? All right. A second thing, though, just about as important as speed is quickness. And sometimes we forget quickness. Quickness is how fast do they get started. So if they run fast but start slow, you need to know that. All right. So two things we need to know about are speed and quickness of the base runner. A third thing you need to know about is the judgment or the intelligence of that base runner. They may be fast, they may be quick, but if they've got poor judgment, don't have any intelligence, well, then their speed is wasted. So we're down to three things already. All right, what's something else you might need to know about your own base runner?
You would need to know how aggressive she is.
Okay, aggressiveness. Aggressive. They may be quick, they may be fast, they may have good intelligence and good judgment, but they don't really want to get in there when they have to. So you need to know how aggressive your base runner is, how aggressive they are. All right. A fifth thing that becomes very important, their base running mechanics. Sometimes they have great speed, sometimes they have good quickness and judgment and aggressiveness and all of these other things, but they don't know how to run the bases well. You know, you take the girl that has all of these other factors, but when she makes her turns at third base, she steps in the middle of the base or on the back edge of the base and makes a real wide turn. Well, all of this speed and quickness is wasted. In contrast to that, you've got the girl who uses the inside corner well, and she makes a good turn. Well, she's going to get to home plate faster than the girl who runs maybe faster than her, but uses poor mechanics. So you got to know something about the base running mechanics, and that's very important. Another factor, now that you've got them around third, what can they do when they get to home? If the play's real close, what are they going to have to do?
I'd want to know if she could slide or not.
Right, they got to slide. And you got some players that slide better than others. If they can't slide, then you got problems. If they can slide, you've got a good situation. If the need is determined that you got to slide, you need a player that's going to be able to slide. So you need to consider that when the runner's coming around third base. And then one last thing we need to think about is the physical condition of that player. You know, sometimes you've got all of these factors working in your favor, but you've got a runner at second base who hurt their ankle a week ago and they're not quite recovered. You need to know that, you need to consider that. So in considering your base runner, you've got to think about more than just how fast they are. And that's kind of what we're trying to get into with strategy. It goes beyond the surface. You've got to think about a lot of factors, and one of those on your team is the base runner and all these different things about the base runner. Okay, we talked about the base runner. What's another player on your team we need to know something about?
What about your next hitter?
Right, it's pretty obvious. Another player you need to know about is the next hitter. You know, what kind of hitter are they? You know, is your next batter coming to bat a 600 hitter, or are they 0 for July? And, you know, hadn't had a hit all month. That makes a difference in whether they can drive in the runner from third base or you want to try to send the runner in already and take your chances on the throw from the outfield. Also, how tough is that hitter mentally? You know, they may be a 500 hitter, but may not be a 500 hitter in clutch situations when you need a hit. So you got to keep that in mind. Also, how are they hitting recently? They may be a 500 hitter, but they're in a slump. They may be a 500 hitter who can't hit this pitcher very well. So not only what their batting average is, but a few more things about them. And if they are a 500 hitter, something we forget sometimes, if they are a real good hitter, what could the other team do?
They may walk the batter. They might not let her hit.
Right, right. They might walk them. So that 500 hitter may not get a chance to hit. So not only should you know about the next hitter, you need to know about the next hitters. Because if the next hitter is a good one, she might get walked, and then the information you need is about the second hitter that's coming up, not the one that was on deck. Okay, we've talked about the base runner. That's very important. The next hitter or hitters is very important. Another thing you need to think about is just the general nature of your whole team, because if your team scores a lot of runs, that's one thing. If you rarely score runs, that's another thing, and you better try to score when you get a chance. You also need to know what kind of defense your team plays. Do you give up a lot of runs, or do you play real good defense? So in addition to knowing about your base runner and your hitter that's coming up next, or the one after that, you need to know the general nature of your whole team.